Hello YouTube, welcome to YP Patriot YouTube channel. Happy New Year everyone. This is my first phase video of 2023. Before we begin, I'd like to shout out to Grade 1 Mark Levin, had interview with 45th President Donald Trump, since found classified document found in Joe Biden's house. 3 documents this week, and I think there'll be more. Let's watch together and listen what President Donald Trump says. During the video, listen to President Donald Trump. Make a comment below if you agree with him or leave your own opinion.
Ultimately, I'm always right.
If you look at all of the different legislation that's been passed over the years, I mean, we're supposed to be dealing with them and talking to them. We were doing that. All of a sudden, they raid Mar-a-Lago, and we had it secure. Look, Mar-a-Lago, you know Mar-a-Lago. It's a very secure place to start off with. But the Presidential Records Act, if you take a look at the Presidential Records Act, that's there to protect the president and also the country. And I fall under that. Plus, I have the right, as you know, to declassify documents, and the vice president doesn't have that right, has no rights to do that. He comes under the Federal Records Act. That's a very, very strict act, whereas the Presidential Records Act is very much different. And we were living up to that, and then all of a sudden we got raided, I guess for publicity reasons, but I don't think that publicity worked out very well for them. And now they're starting to find all of these highly classified, not just classified, highly classified documents. And if you look at the picture of him in the Corvette and take a look behind it in the garage, they got papers strewn all over the place. It's a mess of all the papers. I've never seen anything like it. They just got announced that Hunter Biden is the actual owner of this house, Hunter Biden. And you know what his reputation is and the problems he's had over the years. So it's a disgraceful situation. They appointed a Trump-hating prosecutor, hates to a level like you wouldn't believe. His wife, his sister-in-law, all of his friends, all the big Trump haters. And this guy is, really an atrocious Trump hater. And the man they appointed as the special, I call it prosecutor in my case, the special counsel in the other case, is a much different type of person. You know, Mar-a-Lago is built like a fort.
It is.
You know, Mar-a-Lago was supposed to be Marjorie Merriweather-Pust, E.F. Hutton built it. And they built it really as the Southern White House. It was gifted to Washington. It was actually built because of its security. It's got high walls all over. It was built because of the security. And on top of that, we have the Secret Service here. So, we had a very well-guarded situation, whereas you look at where they're finding these documents in an office with no security or in a garage with absolutely no security in a house that wasn't even owned by him, that was owned by Hunter. And I think you're going to find a lot more because in Delaware, I understand they have a tremendous stash of documents. And I'm sure when you look at that, you're going to find documents that you didn't even believe.
It is.
Before 11 o'clock, we were in Mar-a-Lago shortly thereafter. I was still president of the United States, I believe until 12 o'clock. And I was in there. That's a big difference, too. And we were allowed to take this. Many presidents took things with them. Clinton took, and in fact, he won a case called the Sox case, and they were taking it out in socks. But Clinton took, and Nixon took. They actually paid Nixon, I think, $18 million for the things he took. He sued them, and they ended up paying, and I think that's really how the Presidential Records Act came about. But if you take a look at Bush, they all took. But what I take, it's a little bit different. And what I was allowed to take. And again, the president has the right to declassify all sorts of rights that a vice president doesn't have. Biggest problem, Mark, is it's China. China gave $55 million to the University of Pennsylvania, where I went. I went to the Wharton School of Finance at Penn. And, I'm disappointed in them as a school. But China was paying through that money. Biden got $1 million a year for a think tank, if you can believe it. So they paid Biden $1 million a year out of the money that China gave. Now, if China wants to see those documents, I'm sure they would say, come on, let me show you.
Administration documents. So clearly the National Archives did not get all the documents, quote unquote, when they are with Joe Biden. So the National Archives lied.
They did, and Biden took them, and maybe Obama didn't even know that, but Biden possibly didn't. But Biden took them, and as vice president, he doesn't have the rights to do this. And what he did is it's a very serious problem. It's a very serious problem. But it's not a problem for me. I'm allowed to do that. And you look at the law. The Sox case that I told you about, that was a case that allowed Clinton to take things that he took. He took things, and they ended up in litigation, and Clinton won, meaning he was allowed. It's a very famous case, the Sox case, and he was allowed to take things as president, and I am too. And they made such a big deal out of it, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and he was acting so sanctimonious, by the way, to use an interesting term. But Biden, if you take a look at it, what he did, and then all of a sudden this stuff starts coming out. And I have a feeling a lot more is going to come out over the next coming months in terms of him.
Next to your Corvette, what were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but anyway,
was in a locked garage?
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
We have this.
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? By that I mean names of people who helped, or et cetera. And it's just totally irresponsible.
Totally irresponsible. And
I just want to be precise. That was released on CBS 60 Minutes on September 18th, 2022, about a month or so before, maybe 2 months before they found similar documents at the Biden private office.
Right, exactly.
Next to your Corvette, what were you thinking?
Let me, I'm going to get a chance to speak on all this, God willing, soon. But as I said earlier this week, people, and by the way, my Corvette's in a locked garage, okay? So it's not like you're sitting out in the street.
So
but anyway,
was in a locked garage?
Yes, as well as my Corvette.
So, what do you guys think? I am 1,000% agree with him. I am not a lawyer, but it seems like President Trump is 1,000% correct. So, what do you guys think? Make a comment in the below. Okay, everybody, I am road to 1,000 subscribers. I need your help to reach that goal.